Yeah, it is their episode of the Autumn Windbags. RJ Clifford, Juan Soto. Let's have some fun today. This thing switched. Something changed. It used to be inverted. Now it's mirrored. I pointed the wrong way. I'm actually pointing to you.
You're just tired. I did mine right.
I'm just cross-eyed.
Everything's something backwards. Like that. I was on point with mine.
Not me. I was not pointed. Get some glasses. Anyway, more importantly, 94 days away till Raiders opening day. Officially in double digits, which is no small feat. We got there. 94.
It's going to come down in chunks, man.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be, 87, 80. In the 70s, we're going to be in the offensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be quick, man. It's going to be quick. And it happens every year where we're like, oh, man, remember when it was like 95, remember? Yeah. And it's like 15. We're like, oh, my God. It's right around the corner.
It goes fast early and it goes fast late. There's a middle part of like the 50s.
60s, like 60 to 40 is tough.
Kind of feels like it kind of drudges down a little, like before preseason, after OTAs. And it's like, you get like little training camp things here or there, but your standards raise, right? Like after the season and it's like combine, you're so desperate for football that some 21-year-olds just doing 3-cone drills in shorts, you're just like, this is so great. This is football. This is really happening. And then it just kind of like builds and then draft. You're like, we're actually getting players. We get excited about it. OTAs. And it's like, we've talked about it a billion times. It just steadily becomes more football-like substance, and then there's just like a break, like you said, like 40 to 60. But right now, we just went from 100 something to 90 something.
Dude, it's just sit back and enjoy the ride.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be here before you know it. It's already in June. This year's already like pretty much half over, and we're only like 3 months away. So if we're only half that away, we're almost there.
And it's an interesting feeling because like there's been some seasons, you're just like, this is going to be a rough one. There's been some seasons we were really excited and normally doesn't pan out. But this one, it feels like I still have we'll do our official, like win total predictions and stuff as the off season rolls around. But this is just like I've tempered expectations for this next season, but I have sky high expectations for this regime. So it's like this feels like the good step in the right direction season, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's a process, and the NFL has done a really good job of kind of owning the news cycle and just kind of slow releasing and giving us a little bit of a cool off time, but then giving us enough time to be able to kind of like miss it a little bit, and then they give us a little bit more and kind of stretch us and string us along until we're back with a regular season games. So yeah, man, it just go along for the ride. The NFL knows what they're doing.
And the key to always stay engaged is gambling. That's the key. Always making it interesting. And you can
My advice to you is to drink heavily.
Drink heavily. Gamble hard. So you can now start betting on the offensive rookie of the year. You can start betting on things that don't happen until February. Super Bowls, win-loss totals, etc. You want to take a wild guess on who the favorite is to win offensive rookie of the year? And I don't feel like I'm jinxing.
Does his name rhyme with Ashton Jeanty?
Oh, Schmashton. That's a good name for when he runs someone over. Schmashton.
Ashton Jeanty.
Ashton Jeanty. Running back. Las Vegas Raiders, FanDuel, plus 250. The leader in the clubhouse, plus 250 odds to be offensive rookie of the year. Then it goes Cam Ward, 380. Travis Hunter, plus 900. T-Mac, 1,000. Show, 1,200. Hampton 1,400, etc. Then a bunch of running backs. Kind of rare for running back or to be number one. It's almost it's gone to a quarterback consistently, But Cam Ward's got kind of a cesspool over there in Tennessee. I don't know if this is the expectations for Ashton. I don't know if these are the lower expectations for Cam. I mean, I would be shocked if anyone else gets it. Like, it would take like Ashton and Cam getting injured for one of them not to get it. I would think, it'd have to be something like that for anyone else to get it other than these two. But the number one overall quarterback is 130 points below a running back for a Raiders team that was last in rushing last season.
So there's a few things that are at play here. The first one is something that I think you and I were covering the entire draft process. Is it's not a very good quarterback draft class. Mm-hmm. Just isn't. Now, could that change when they get on the field? Sure, that could. But as far as what is seen and what comes onto the field and, what we've seen from college and how that translates, really hasn't, not a great crop. Yeah. Plus, none of these teams that are drafting quarterbacks high aren't teams that were beset by injuries the season before, or they were underproducing. They were just really, really bad teams. Yeah. And they didn't really do much in the way of upgrading a lot of stuff around Cam Ward in Tennessee. Mm-hmm. So there's that. Plus, the positive note for the Raiders is the three most important people on your team on the field are massive, massive upgrades from the last handful of years, maybe even a decade, maybe even more. You got Chip Kelly at offensive coordinator, you got Pete Carroll at head coach, and you have Geno Smith at quarterback. Those are massive upgrades, at least to last season, from what this team has had. And we saw the offensive line was able to open lanes for, Sincere McCormick. Like, he didn't have a problem running the ball. Mm-hmm. We just had, Amir Abdullah, a guy who, doesn't run the ball, but he didn't have a problem when he was able to get consistent carries. He didn't have a problem running the ball. I think it was, we may look back at it as more of a Zamir White, Alexander Madison thing than the offensive line just sucked. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of blame to go. There's you're not last. Yeah, you're not last in rushing for one thing. Like, it's always like plenty of blame to go around. And Getsy, I think, takes a bunch of blame as well. Plenty of blame to go around. Bad passing game means it's easier to stop the run. Blah blah blah. But to your point, I think because it was such a weak quarterback class, that should buoy Cam Ward's claim. Because there's, it'd be pretty shocking if any other quarterback got offensive rookie of the year other than Cam Ward. Like, the next one down is
Tyler Shuck.
Tyler Shuck, who's like, when we know how bad New Orleans is right now, all the mess that's over there, like, it would be pretty bonkers, right? So, like, on the flip side, there's a shit ton of great running backs in this draft. We talk about it all the time. Like, that was probably the biggest reason, if we weren't going to draft Ashton Jeanty, was because there were so many other good ones. Is it worth the 6? There's other guys, value, blah, blah, blah. Like, I haven't met a single person that's like, Ashton Jeanty isn't worth it. The only question is, is it?
Oh, you haven't heard Chris Broussard then?
I haven't. Was he bashing him?
Oh, God.
Just not good?
I need to see it first, okay? I'm not just gonna anoint him as a 1,500-yard rusher, all right? Get the hell out of here.
That sounded like Broussard doing a Stephen A. Smith impersonation.
That was Christopher A. Smith.
So, like, but to my point, when there's only one quarterback that could realistically get it, you'd think he'd be like a minus 200 favorite, because the award usually goes to quarterbacks. We just saw it last year. Brock Bowers had the greatest rookie tight end year ever, one of the best rookie receiving of any position years ever, despite trash head coach, trash quarterbacks, trash offensive coordinator, trash O-line, worst running game in football, and he still was uncoverable and still broke every record and still had all these things, right? Like, that's how hard it is to overcome the quarterback offensive rookie of the year situation. And then, like I mentioned, Cam Ward's really the only guy that's going to get it. It's not like he's splitting up, like in the Heisman, when like the quarterback and running back from the same team are both nominated, neither one of them's going to get it, splits the vote. Same thing here, right? So Ashton Jeanty is going against a Cam Ward who's by himself, against a giant crop of really good rookie running backs on, let's be frank, right? On paper, way better run teams on paper than the Raiders right now. It's certainly than last year. And he's still the leader. He's still the biggest favorite. I mean, I don't know if it's a combination of just how good that people think Ashton Jeanty is going to be, the Chip Kelly influence, the Pete Carroll influence. There's a run game there. Like, I don't know what the reason is, but there's a lot of things on paper going against Ashton Jeanty to be the favorite. It still is.
I think you may be overplaying one side of the paper and not giving enough credit to the other side as far as that goes. Couple things. Number one, you said that Cam Ward is by himself. That's the problem. There's nothing else in Tennessee. And he's not one of those transformative, quarterbacks where would he have landed last season or the previous draft as far as, he wouldn't be one of the top 5-6 guys. He would be around a Bo Nix-ish type of guy. And he played well when he had guys around him, but I mean, and he had Sean Payton.
He'd probably be a Raider.
Probably would. But the thing is, he doesn't have what Denver has. He doesn't have the type of defense Denver had. He didn't have the weapons that Denver had. He didn't have the offensive line that Denver had. There's a lot of issues going on with Tennessee that's going to hinder his development because he doesn't have that, Callahan, yeah, but he's not Sean Payton, right? And as far as Jeanty goes, yes, there are a lot of other running backs, but it's not like it's running back versus running back, right? It's just go out there and be the best. And I was saying throughout the entire draft process, when it's just special when you have what Todd McShay called it the best running back class he's ever seen. Mm-hmm. And to have a guy be head and shoulders above everybody else by pretty much everybody's estimation, he's that special. So you put him with Chip Kelly and a renewed, offensive philosophy with the Raiders and a better passing attack. Yeah, man, it just all makes sense.
Well, I mean, look, I would say, yeah, Cam Ward's got his back against the wall in a lot of ways with how bare the covers are in Nashville, but like, it's still the quarterback, right? Like, you're still like, it's usually a quarterback. Again, I use the example of last season. Jay Daniels had a good year. That's a damn good year for a quarterback, right? That's a top 10-ish in most categories. Brock Bowers was number 1 in every category for a rookie and didn't even sniff, not even remotely close. He got 2, but like 10,000 miles behind Jaden Daniels, right? So Ashton Jeanty would have to have like, let's say Cam Ward he's a solid NFL starter. Average numbers, right? Top 10 in 2 or 3 things, bottom 25 in a couple things, but
you're pushing the argument a lot by saying that. Top 10 in a couple things, like what?
Again, this is all hypothetical, right?
That's what I'm saying. But the hypothetical has to have some sort of foundation of believability, or it's just fantasy. He's just not that good, dude. He's not as good as the guys that were in the lead for it last season. That's the thing is, and Jaden Daniels went to a lot better situation. You have to take a look at all that stuff. He's not that kind of guy. There's not many veteran quarterbacks that are really good that you could put on that Tennessee Titans team and they'll produce at a level that would win them the Offensive Rookie of the Year.
There wasn't a lot of people that thought Jaden Daniels would win Offensive Rookie of the Year. So
you have to look at the position, the situation they're going into.
My point being, a quarterback only has to be pretty good to beat out phenomenal of any other position, as was proven last season. You only have to be, good. Yeah, you're good. You're a good rookie quarterback, and you beat the greatest rookie tight end in the history of the NFL, right? So for Ashton Jeanty to be able to be not only ahead of Cam Ward, but ahead of Cam Ward and all these other running backs who on paper are in better running back situations, is to my point. It's
Yeah, but
either
you keep saying on paper better running back situations. I don't necessarily agree with that.
I think the Chargers have a way better line than us.
Well, you have to take a look at who the offensive coordinator and the offensive line coach were last season, and that's completely different now.
This is going again. Well,
I get what you're saying, but like
we're making each other's points.
You're twisting these things to make your argument more valid. I'm like, you're using the worst case scenario for everything to make it look better, and the best case scenario for everything to make it look worse.
I'll put it this way to keep your butthole from puckering. Based on last season, for simplicity's sake, based on last season, all these other running backs are in better situations, right? Like the old line and for the Chargers, far superior. The commitment to the run from this regime is certainly more. Same thing in Denver, right? The exact same thing in Denver, blah, 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 blah. And to my point, for him to be plus 250 and the leader in the clubhouse tells me two things. I don't know which one's bigger, but it tells me two things. Just Ashton Jeanty they just believe he's just that phenomenal. And two, all the changes to the Raiders is going to change the situation that he's in. Because it's fucking crazy to say the rookie, like just as a general term, broad spectrum, running back X in Las Vegas has a 7 times greater chance to be an offensive rookie of the year than running back Y in Denver. Like that statement is wild. Once you insert Ashton and O'Marion, now you're starting to make a little bit of sense. That's my point, is that must be how good Ashton is, and also must be how much FanDuel and et cetera believe in this new regime, or at least how much better it can be than last season.
Yeah, when I actually did, I went live yesterday and I talked. I took a lot of excerpts from a lot of mainstream media, right? And it was a lot of things that weren't typically said. You know how I feel about mainstream media, especially when it comes to the Raiders. They recycle the same narrative over and over and over again, despite the platform, despite the channel, despite the person. It's the same nonsense spit over and over again. It's a cyclical thing. But I looked at when people said something a little bit different, and Ryan Clark said exactly what you're saying now. The top 3 positions are massive upgrades. Plus, you take a look at some of the other upgrades to the team. A lot of, and it now shows that FanDuel now, the guys, they talk with the money, right? You follow the money. That there's a lot of people around the NFL who are thinking that the Raiders are a candidate to be one of those flip the switch teams.
Mm. And I think that's why have we spent 12 minutes on the betting odds of our rookie running back winning one, let's be honest, not even that big of an award? Because what is the symptom of? The symptom of the two things. The bookies are believing that the Raiders are going to turn things around, and they also believe Ashton Jeanty's that good. Or maybe they just believe one of them. I don't know. Right. I don't know what the line is, but one of 3 things has to be true. Either they really believe in Ashton, they really believe in the Raiders turnaround, or a combination of the two. Because you are not.
Well, there's also a fourth that they're riding the Ashton Jeanty hype train to get people to bet on him, and they really don't think that he will.
Well, yeah, I mean that's what sports books do, is they always they change the line based on betting input to be as close to 50-50 as possible, and so that's how they leverage their losses, right? But you got to start somewhere, right? Like these odds just came out, and they I looked at like the trend of these odds. None of them have drastically gone either way, right? Like it hasn't drastically moved. So it's not like, so there's not a certain fan base that's like betting one of these guys in one direction. But again, what do we always say? Follow the money, right? Like analysts can say whatever they want. Media members can say whatever they want. When there's money on the line, there's like a tangible believable consequence of being right or wrong. And so again, it's not perfect, but
what's going to happen to Chris Broussard if Ashton Jeanty runs for like 1,250 yards next season? catches like maybe 60 balls and, scores 12, 15 touchdowns. What's going to happen to Chris Broussard? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But if
I can tell you what's going to happen to him on this show.
I mean, I'm gonna call out that clip again. But if these guys from FanDuel are wrong, yeah, it's a big thing.
Yeah, there'll be some shareholders with some questions. We got to start a cold takes exposed too. Hope you wrote that down somewhere because I haven't seen that yet. But
it's on their side. They're just
down somewhere.
I don't know, man. I don't like to focus on that nonsense. I think you have to go back. It's just a lot more work. It just sounds like a lot of work, RJ.
It really does, but it's so satisfying to pull up something that some idiot said 7 years ago, and we said like 7 months ago, and we got it right. The problem is, I've been doing it for the last 3 seasons, and we haven't been. They've all been right. Like, so,
well, you and I love the Brock Bowers pick, and Rory wanted that bum that freaking went to the Saints.
I mean, I warmed up to Brock, but if you remember, I was just fucking floored. I've never been that flabbergasted. I've been extremely excited. I've been super pissed. I've been like, please don't do it. Please don't do it. Please don't do it. God damn it. They did it. I've been like, who the hell is that guy? But I've never been just like, that doesn't even compute. Like, he literally is the only guy that's like, yeah, best player available. Last draft, we traded up to get a tight end in the second round. We got a tight end again. Like, he is the only GM that's literally best player available. Like,
I wouldn't necessarily say that because he denied like 4 trades that people wanted to trade up. So he was definitely a known commodity. Once the Bo Nix was taken, there was no quarterback really left for us. People were like circling like vultures trying to pick the bones, and we're like, nah, we're just gonna take him.
Yeah, and he doesn't trade down. He's like literally best player available. No trade downs, no trade ups, not getting cute. Don't care about position and need. Look at our big board. He was number 7 or whatever, and got him in the teens.
5 to 7, yeah, most of the time.
I was floored. So OTA news from the last couple days. I've been jumping around. We usually do The Athletic, but there's a lot of other good guys out there. Vinny Bonsignori of the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Speaking of tight ends,
we lost Vic Tafer too. Freaking guy.
I know, to the Giants, Niners. San Francisco.
Niners, dude.
Niners, barf. It really sucks not having him around. That's a bummer.
Whatever.
Michael Mayer, kind of the forgotten tight end, right? Drafted 2nd overall 2 seasons ago, was overshadowed by Brock Bowers, had mental breakdown or lapse, or we still don't know to this day the details of what happened. But apparently he's still pretty damn good at football. The guy we traded up in round 2 to get still inside the ball a little bit. The Raiders traded up to take tight end Michael Mayer in the 2nd round 2023 draft. They had big expectations for the former Notre Dame standout, but for a variety of reasons, blah, 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 blah. We know why he has been playing. Mayer has shown up in tremendous shape and has been a standout at OTA so far. It helps that he has a new quarterback in Geno Smith, an offensive coordinator in Chip Kelly. Kelly said, Mike's been fantastic since day 1 of the offseason program. We started early in April there. And what he did just in the weight room, what he's done in the meeting room, and then what he did in phase 2 of the offseason program, then what he's continued to do here. So really, really excited about him. He really is, I think, one of the biggest question marks on this offense of what his role will be, how will he fit? Because there's certainly there's rookie receivers of how good can they be. There's a little bit of a guard battle at left guard. But other than that, it's like
that's a cat fight, right? Dude. That's a freaking scratch the eye, freaking drag out. That's a huge fight, dude.
Yeah, someone's getting their oil checked in that fight. Like that's how high the stakes
someone's getting the freaking El Piquete Azteca.
But it's kind of weird to say this. It's like everything else is almost a known commodity. Like Geno is well established, Brock's well established, the rest of the O-line. I mean, if you can consider a second-year player well-established, the whole line is pretty much well-established. And then it's our number 1 receivers well-established. And then it's rookies. And, there's learning curves, but sometimes guys, achieve above, below, whatever. Really, the only wild card on the whole thing is Mayer, right? Still a talent. We were really excited about him. Brock is, depending on how they use Brock, do you view Brock as a tight end at all, or is he kind of in his own category? Mayer's role, I would say he's by far the biggest wild card on this offense next season.
Yeah, the talent is still there. All right, that hasn't gone anywhere. And if his head's on right and he's better physically, because he was a little chunky when he came back. I don't know if you saw him. I don't know if we talked about that, but he was a little heavier when he came back from his little hiatus. And
if you're ready for like wild, flagrant speculation, his face looked puffy, like almost like drinking puffy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I don't know if that was it, but he definitely did look heavier.
Yeah.
I compared it to when they had that rookie thing at the Coliseum. And I looked at his face and I was like, oh boy, he looks a little bit bigger, a little thicker. Like he got a little COVID weight on him. But I can see Michael Mayer because, like I said, his talent is still there, and he just has more things around him. He's not like a Sam Laporta type who can go out there and just, that's not who he is. He's more of a traditional type of tight end who's like a safety valve guy, a guy that can leak, up the seam if you draw the right play up and stuff like that. That's who he is. And I can see him being an extremely valuable weapon on third down because he's got clutch hands. He knows how to kind of do that little Michael Irvin chicken wing to get open at the very end. And one of the big things is he can make catches in traffic. So I can see Geno Smith really building a big rapport with him in late downs, maybe that he doesn't have with some of the younger guys. Because I can see a lot of these younger guys getting plays drawn up for them in first, second down by Chip Kelly, get them involved, use their just the different things they can do and stuff like that. But I could see Mayer being more of a safety blanket type of guy.
Well, I would say even more important than anything you mentioned is he can block. Right? Brock in the running game, not a great blocker. And if we're passing,
he's okay. He's not a liability.
And if we're passing, he shouldn't be blocking, right? He's obviously going to be running routes, right? So, but in a passing situation, Mayer is again to the trend. He's a wild card. Is he going to run around? Is he going to block? Again, this offensive line, below average on paper. And what have I always said about Chip Kelly's scheme? The biggest Achilles heel of it is it requires a lot of the O-line. He wants a lot of options out there running routes. Very complicated blocking scheme. They got to be on the move. They got to hit their things, right? And so, we don't really have like a fullback or blocking back. It's probably going to be him. If we need blocking help, it's going to be him. So I think he'll see a lot of playing time. I really do. Maybe not and we talked about this last week, like who's going to get the most receptions. I think with all the playing time he'll get, I think he'll get some semi-decent receptions. But as a blocker, we're going to need him. We're really going to need him as a blocker. So if his head's right, I think he's going to see and also when you think about it, of all the skill players, right? Who do we want to always be on the field? Ashton, Brock, and Jacoby. After that, is there anyone when you're like, we have to have Trey Tucker on the field. We have to have Mostert on the field. Like Mayer's probably the fourth guy you want on the field the most because he can do everything. And he feels a weakness.
He's definitely, has that ability to be a high contributor at multiple things, which is the thing what you're talking about. He can do a lot more to help both parts of the offensive game, both the passing game and the running game. So having that type of flexibility is, going to be huge. I'm just really interested to see because I last season, Chip Kelly showed a lot of, I think maybe some maturity on his part as far as being a play caller goes, because he didn't do a lot of those wild things that Chip Kelly normally did, like the type of stuff he did at UCLA even the year before. a lot of the wild freaking formations and like, you know, having the quarterback stacked on the, you know, in the slot, like behind, you know, he's all kinds of wild. He didn't do that at Ohio State. And partially because he had studs everywhere, but he's got those same type of studs now. And I don't see him being as I wouldn't say reckless, but whimsical as far as, you know, the play calling goes. I think it's going to be a little bit more,
I think,
you know,
I think
straight up and down.
I think desperate's the most accurate word. Like you're UCLA playing in the Big Ten. It's like, we can't just line up ours versus yours and win. It's got to get like, you got to get little desperate, right? You got to try a Superman punch and a flying arm bar. I just can't be in there doing 1-2.
Oregon, even before when he was doing that same stuff when he had, you know, great draft classes, you know. So I think he's calmed down a little bit. I think he's a little bit different now. I think he understands the pro game a little bit more, and he's able to do those, you know, more innovative type of play calls through different sets and not put as much pressure on the offensive line as he did in the past, getting his, you know, quarterback hit a lot more than needed to.
I think his insecurities have gone away too. Like he's like, look, he literally demoted himself from head coach to OC.
So over it.
That never
like
fucking happens. Yeah. That never happens. I can count on one hand in my entire life when a head coach like leaves being a head coach position not because he's fired, not because he retires, not because he took another head coaching job, but kept being in football and willingly took a demotion. Like that never happens. And Chip's like, fuck it. I'm over recruiting. I'm over scouting. I'm over like the paperwork. I'm over handling media, transportation, like all this shit. I just want to nerd out in my nerdery with my X's and O's and make plays. That's all.
I can't even imagine, dude. I can't even imagine the amount of work that he put in to just stay afloat with all the other programs in the college football, with all the, you know, NIL and the transfer portal and all that, just to have your administration at UCLA tell you, no, you can't have any money. Your NIL guy saying we don't have any more money. You're like, damn.
Like, yeah, like compared to Ohio State and Michigan and
compared to anybody, dude. Like, they just don't value the football program there.
Well, and he was the one, right? He was like the big buy. Like he was the one that everyone was excited about because like he was finally not just a guy that like played here 20 years ago that was available. It's like, no, like we're actually going to go out and pan out. We're way off track here, but side note, I think I have no evidence of this, but I think Patrick Graham is the one being groomed to take over. I think that would make the most sense because he's the closest one to being a head coach now. Obviously, Pete Carroll at his age is probably, 3-ish years before he retires. If we can get Patrick Graham to be the head coach when Pete retires and Chip is OC, we would maybe be the only team in football where we don't have to worry about losing our offensive mind or our defensive mind. Because our defensive mind's the head coach. He's there. And our OC has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt he doesn't want to be a head coach again. So we would be like the only team in football where you had no concern about losing your offensive mind or defensive mind.
Well, I think that Patrick Graham is on that teetering point right now. Mm-hmm. Because if this defense does not perform, he may be gone. Because they were bottom 5 3 of the last 4 years. Mm. So if the defense it's nut cutting time for Patrick Graham in this defense, because they went to the well again. Let's see, some continuity, but Pete Carroll he's not about that life, man. He's not about that business. If the defense is letting him down, he's going to find somebody who can do it better. And there's no more excuses for Patrick Graham. He has to go out there and get it done. Now, if he does get it done, yes, he's in line to be groomed to be that next guy. I'm not saying he is or he isn't going to be that guy, but, he's going to be in the running heavily. But I can tell you right now, if he has another season like he did last season, as far as like stats go, or the last 3 of the last 4 seasons, he's not going to be around anymore.
After the last season, you were like pretty sure he was going to get a head coaching job somewhere, and now you're saying he
almost did.
A season away from getting fired. What changed?
Pete Carroll.
Okay.
Pete Carroll has high standards, man. Pete Carroll, you need to be the Pete Carroll of that position. And if you can't get it done, it's about production, man. You have to be able to do everything. You have to be able to bring the heat. You have to be able to bring the juice. You have to be able to know your stuff. You have to be able to connect with your players. You have to be able to produce on the field. If you can't do that, then you're not going to be around anymore.
Well, look, we've seen certainly far more credentialed coordinators be fired after a season, so it's certainly possible. But I don't know, man. I think he's super well respected.
3 out of the last 4 seasons have been bottom 5 defenses, bro. Like, I love Patrick Graham. I think he's a great coach, but dude, enough with the excuses, dude. Let's get to producing now.
Yeah. Well, it's been obviously, it's been also way low bottom 5 players too. So I think Pete Carroll knows that. It's a matter of who you're going to replace with him, right? Can you get someone better? That's the question.
I mean, I'm sure
is there a really good guy better?
Pete Carroll has a thick Rolodex, man. He can go and get in that Rolodex and find somebody better.
Is thick Rolodex a phrase I haven't heard before? Did you make it up?
Yeah, you've never heard that before?
Thick Rolodex? No.
Yeah. You have your roster of chicks, your Rolodex. You gotta have a thick Rolodex.
Oh, they said Rolodex, which I guess is kind of the same thing.
Rolodex.
A Rolodex can be a Rolodex. I would say the Rolodex is 3 times.
Now you're trying to
as big
remix
as
something that doesn't need
Rolodex.
remixing. It's a Rolodex.
There's a Rolodex, and the Rolodex is 3 times as big. Why is it 3 times as big, Soto?
You're trying to make something that's not there.
Why is it 3 times as big?
Sorry.
If you don't know why it's 3 times as big, you got to get more creative with your chick. Number 2. Stop me if you've heard this before. Tyree Wilson. Living up to his draft spot. Something that Vinny Bonsignori already brought up. It's like, well, with Malcolm Kuntz still recovering from a major injury and Christian Wilkins is, all the news has been bad news. Tyree Wilson stepping up would be a savior. And we're past the point of whether he's a bust or not. He is. Done deal. He's a bust. You're not drafted that high, produced this little, this far. You are a bust compared to the draft position that you were drafted at. You are a draft bust. But the draft position doesn't matter anymore. If he could be an average starter, that would go a very, very long way for this Raiders and this defensive line that desperately needs a boost out of the D line. He looked huge, dude. Have you seen the photos of him? Look beefy.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely on the all airport team, right?
Mm-hmm. Getting off
but
the
look,
layer.
Again, he's another guy. He needs to produce or be gone. It's the thing that Pete Carroll is given this kind of mulligan year, not a mulligan year, but like to certain people that he's not going to move on from right away because he wants to see how they perform under him. He doesn't have time to waste, dude. He has a lot of energy and everything for a 73-year-old, but Jesus, how much time does he have? He doesn't have this kind of time. And I think he's confident in his ability to find somebody who's going to be able to take the defense to a different level if Patrick Graham can't. So ultimately, it's going to be produce or be gone for a lot of these guys.
Well, obviously, Tyree Wilson has this is his 3rd year, right? So he'll have another year on his rookie deal. So he's probably not going to go anywhere. I don't think we could trade him and get anything, but certainly playing time can be swooped from him. If people think that if Pete, Patrick, whoever thinks that playing time could be used for somebody else, that's certainly the case. But my biggest point was like we've moved past like is he a draft bust or not? He is a draft bust. Now, what can he do for us? That's where we're at now. Like can he be a you're a credentialed quality starter or not? Are we going to use that playing time for you or somewhere else? Number 3 from Vinny, linebacker room. The Raiders lost starting linebackers Robert Spillane, Divine Diablo, picked up Landon Roberts, Devin White. White, we know his history, was really good when everything else around him was good. Super fast, still only 27, not that great. Jalen Smith with some depth. Tommy Eichenberg's floating around. This is certainly the position that we're going to be following heavily. And it's also like there's been like there can be bad positions, but at least there's like a structure there. You're like, okay, there's a veteran presence, there's flyers, there's kind of the middle of the road guys. Like there's, even if it's a bad room, it can be layered in a sense. The linebacker room isn't very layered. It's like all young guys, two really cheap veterans brought in, Jalen Smith as depth, and then some like rookies and second-year players. It's super young, man. Like they're a bunch of babies.
It's going to be interesting. Yeah, for sure. It's going to be interesting to see how this shakes out in the linebacking group. Just because, look, Elandon Roberts lost his starting job because the Steelers were able to sign Patrick Queen, one of the best linebackers in the NFL. Before that, he led the Steelers in tackles. So he's one season removed from being really productive, but also getting a lot of playing time. So his production did drop, but so did his playing time. Devin White has a lot of ability. It's just, can he be taught to take the right first step? Can he be taught to see things properly and act on them initially and not either have to wait to make sure he knows what he's seeing or take a false step and get put out of position? The path is wide open for Cody Lindenberg to get significant playing time at linebacker because of the question marks of the guys. Can Jalen Smith stay healthy? Can Devin White get his head screwed on straight? Can Elandon Roberts still produce? Those are the three veterans out there. Can those guys do it? If there's any faltering there, you know for a fact Pete Carroll is not the kind of guy who's not going to play the better player just because he's a seventh-round rookie. If he's the better guy out there, he's going to play him. And there's no loyalty to Eichenberg or Gain or any of those guys because that's his previous regime. And from what Eichenberg showed me, his lack of foot speed is a big problem because he's not the type of guy who, is more instinctual and takes that strong first step and beats guys to the spot. We saw him get burned quite a bit when he was able to get in there. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. But again, the door's wide open for Cody Lindenberg if he can bust it down.
So we can certainly use more talent. Every team could, and this team that's been devastated by a couple of terrible regimes have punched some giant holes in this roster. Good news is we got the money to do it. $36.8 million in cap space still. That's sixth most in the NFL. 32 teams. We got the sixth most, right? We had the most cap space at certain points this offseason. Before the draft, we were roughly around third. Before free agency hit, roughly around third. And now we're still at sixth. And that's with extending Max Crosby, signing Geno Smith. There's still a couple.
Entire draft class.
The whole draft class, right? Which every other team does. So we're not going to move that crazy. But yeah, to that point. Colton Miller still kind of a wild card. He potentially could be extended. Jacoby Myers could be extended. But really, we're looking at like not just like cap space, but space that needs to be spent or you lose it. Right? So like we're going to have to be signing some people. Do you have your eyes on anybody? Soto. Because this isn't so much like, we're going to sit on it. It's like, no, if you don't use it, you lose it. Signs or trades.
Yeah, I don't see like a ton out there right now that I would probably wait until the later cuts from like the late cuts from training camp. Mm-hmm. But none of these guys really, bust my onions any to really try to go out there and say we got to go out and spend money on this specific guy. None of these guys, they have huge question marks. That's why they're out there. And yeah, man, the Asante Samuel, shoulder injury is really concerning. He was one of the guys that I was looking at like, hey man, this guy can be good, this and that, but he had a serious injury to his shoulder. That's why teams are staying away there. I don't know, man. I just think I would wait to see what if these guys aren't going to be earth-shattering moves, like long-term starters. They're just going to be kind of like gap fillers for the time being. I would just wait to see what gets released later.
So this is my strategy, and I think based on Spytek's moves, I think he's thinking the same thing. We're obviously going to try to be as good as possible this season. Try to win as many games as possible this season. Field as a good team. Start a new culture. Get the optimism going. Set a new standard. Meet it. Beat it. That's there. That is the goal. That is the idea. However, I think realistically, as a GM, you are irresponsible and bad at your job if you just all in every season, don't have a long-term plan. I think 2 years from now is the big splash. And you heard me, just a second ago, like there's no veteran presence really at like linebacker or DB. Which is different than our wide receiver room, right? Our wide receiver room is nice and tiered, right? You got Jacoby, you got Trey, a couple rookies, a second rounder that should be a contributor right away, a fucking gazelle from Tennessee that could, needs a lot of work, but could be Randy Moss, right? Like there's like the potential, like the ceiling is, Eiffel Tower high, right? I don't want to add, like, we do need a Super Bowl winning team needs wide receiver help. I don't want to add it because we got developmental. We're good enough here. We're diversified enough. We got young guys coming up. But it's a bad allocation of resources. Linebacker, a different story. It's young and that's it. I do want a veteran presence. And even if it's just a 1-year deal, and again, we're not going all in to win this season, but a veteran, show these guys how it works. Show these guys how you can do it. Like Devin White's 27, but I want like a seasoned, respected dude. I want someone like that. And the exact same case with the DBs. I want a seasoned, respected guy brought in. And it's a 1-year deal, okay. 2-year deal, okay. We have the cap space to be able to do that. To just say, you know what? Is this guy the key to us winning the Super Bowl? Hopefully, probably not, but he serves a much bigger purpose, and that's building a team that in 2026, we can come off of a massively improved 2025. This guy's made everyone around him better. His veteranship has bled into all these young guys, and he can propel this squad to step up a level. So you're exactly right. Are there guys out there in free agency that are knocking our socks off, and you're like, he's going to bring our room where it needs to be? No, but when you have this much cap where you literally have to spend it or you lose it, bring in some veterans that maybe they're overpaying a little bit for like the number of tackles we'll get in this season, but they round out a room that could really use some rounding out.
Yeah, it's never a bad thing to get one more guy. Mm-hmm. And I think that one more guy is somebody that can really kind of balance out some of these position groups. Those are the two position groups that have probably the biggest question marks. And although linebacker is not necessarily like a premium position group, it is a premium position group when you don't have like a solid starter there, the guy that's been there for a few years or whatever. So yeah, we'll see, man. I don't want it to be too hasty and be too desperate and, throw a lot of money at a guy that's going to get beat out by one of the young guys,
Yeah. I just quick overlook, like Asante Samuel, I think at corner would be a nice signing. Again, veteran coming from a rival, which is nice, in the Chargers. And I like Kaiser White at linebacker. Again, veteran. Again, not turning this whole thing around, but we need to spend money on some veterans. And I think those two guys fill, their presence will be more valuable in our rooms than others. You ready for some like quality, wholesome content today? We're all about that here.
We're gonna start doing that now
on the Autumn Windbags. That's a 74-year-old Pete Carroll.
Yeah,
tackling which line is that?
That's Thayer Mumford.
Yeah, Mumford. Look at this guy. 74-year-old dude in 94-degree temperature. I'm going to pin you.
Look at how easy Mumford pushed him off, too. That's funny.
74 and 94
hilarious.
degree heat. Look, he doesn't look old until the end of this clip when he runs. Then you're like, okay, now you're I'm kind of seeing your age. Other than that, kid in a candy store. Or just a little jog. It's kind of like little old man trot. Like, okay, those knees have seen a lot of wear and tear.
I think it's
He's
the
like, oh,
hips
let me
and
go
lower
find it.
back
Let me go
more
find
than
an
anything.
NFL offensive tackle.
Oh, he kind of cross-faced him a little bit. You see
Trying to
that?
pin him. Yeah.
You see that? Give him like play that again. He gave him that little forearm across the face. He's like, watch the forearm. Watch the right forearm go across the bridge of his nose. Pushes him up. Right here. Boom! Boom! Right there.
I feel like that was less UFC and more WWE. I think he was going for a pin.
He's giving the people an elbow or something.
But he kicked out. He kicked out at one.
Sounds pretty
fun out there. Looks fun out there. Dude. Okay, last one before we get to what if Windbags, and I'm gonna try to beat that. I don't know about you. I can't get enough of these Christian Bale as Al Davis photos. Dude, look at that sneer. The slick back hair, the glasses.
Bro.
The curled nose, just pissed off and glaring.
If he goes method on this, I would just stay away, dude.
It's Christian Bale. He only goes method.
I would stay away. Steer clear. Not that Mr. Davis was like that kind of guy, but I think just the stigma of him. That's him. That's Al Davis.
Look at that. Mouth breathing and shit. Leather jacket.
He has to have a Rolex on though. Where's his watch?
I know they got the rings.
Oh, the rings are there.
Got the rings there.
You got the polyester pants, bro. Dude, this is a good wardrobe. And the V-neck t-shirt. Oh my goodness.
Couple liver spots already brewing. You can tell, you know how you can tell how old the tree is by the rings? You can tell what year it is by Al Davis's liver spots. Mm-hmm. This is probably like 79, something like that.
Ish. Yeah, I go with that.
Right? He's not geriatric, but he's like, just like, because back then guys aged so fast. Like 33-year-old dudes looked like this.
Whiskey and cigar smoke, dude.
Like they lost like 15 years of their youth overseas in a war. And then, just a steady diet of Marlboro Wides and Jack Daniels.
I think for Al Davis, it was just all those years of fighting 31 other franchises and a commissioner.
Just being a spitfire constantly.
Just being right so often. And like, I don't know. It's a whole other conversation.
So I don't know about you, but I'm just like so over analyzing this. Like I'm trying to figure out what year and what years the film is taking place based on how old Christian Bale looks as Al Davis. Right.
If it's the Madden years, it's going to be the mid 70s. Those are his best ones. The ones where he was winning championships and going to championship games. So
he was 69 through 78, right? Head coach during that time. Mm-hmm. And I believe the movie is also about him broadcasting in like the video game. So
that's not going to be as much Christian Bale though in there. I think it's
exactly that's my point. Like you don't sign Christian Bale to your movie and have him just be like the opening 15 minutes of it, and we're going to focus on him as a broadcaster, right? Like it's going to be the coaching years of John Madden, right? So it's going to be
the heavy years.
If that's not the bulk of the movie, they've really shit the bed, right? And this is the director's the dude from American Hustle. I don't know if you saw that, but he's
I saw that.
Some quality shit right there, right? So I'm thinking like, I think the crux of it, like the bulk of the movie, is like leading up, losing those AFC championship games, and then winning the Super Bowl. I think is like the kind of the bulk of it. And that's just like me like guessing will be the most interesting, and then based on the age of Christian Bale as Al Davis, that kind of fits into the whole thing. So like I was doing the math on it, so
don't hurt yourself.
He was born in 29, right? So in 69, he was 40, right? And that's when John Madden took over. And so he won the Super Bowl when he was 48. That looks like 45,
right.
46, 48-year-old Al Davis, right?
I mean, I'm 47 right now, so I look a whole lot better than that. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but you moisturize regularly. You know, you got that good, clean living. And you got me keeping you young. You know,
honestly, dude, ever since I stopped drinking, I felt a lot better.
That's why you're so ornery, though. You feel better, but you're more ornery than there's me.
I just pay more attention. Mm-hmm. I don't let nonsense go.
I hope we see a teenage Mark Davis.
Oh great. God, dude, that'd be so sweet.
Mark Davis would be like 14 around that time. Like, do they give him the haircut? I have no clue what Mark Davis's haircut was.
He didn't have that haircut until like maybe the early 2000s.
Do you know? Like, can you even remember? What's the youngest you remember Mark Davis? I can't even think of
the youngest I remember him was in the early 90s. He was Greg Townsend's agent.
Do you remember what he looked like?
Yeah. He looked just thinner, younger. He looked like a beach guy, like a California beach guy.
Yeah.
His hair was thinner, but it was like more of like that, almost like that Gruden-esque, like kind of like high part, and it kind of sloped in the front. But Google it. Google a young Mark Davis. You'll see.
Does he still look like a baby Huey?
No. I think that's just kind of like, I think the haircut does him a lot of disservice.
He developed that look over time.
Yeah, that haircut really just not doing him anything good. Look at that. There's other pictures other than this one.
Jesus, that is a skin tone not built for California.
Where the hair's longer.
Like, dude, I mean, he's kind of, in
that picture he had the bowl cut, but there's other ones that I've seen when he's like he's walking down the sideline, up and down the sideline, where he didn't have that haircut.
Look at that youthful exuberance. Like that's the son of an owner of a team that's always
look at those ears, dude. You freaking can get satellite with those.
Dude, this is his trademark, dude. Like, and no wonder like his face is falling apart. Like you can't like this is not a face that can handle ultraviolet rays. Like this is a face for an Englishman in the fog, not the California sun. God, I would love to see like a Mark Davis cameo, or like a kid Mark Davis cameo would be hilarious. All right.
That's the picture we got of him?
No, there's other ones.
All right.
I mean, they're not really like, so there's like this one.
That bowl, see the bowl cut? I've seen other pictures that wasn't the bowl cut. There's one on Sports Illustrated that I found. The Sports Illustrated one that was more of like a split.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. I mean, I believe you. I just never seen it.
Hold up.
Hey.
No.
I just can't go over how gingery he
is. But after young Mark Davis, put Raiders. You'll find it. I found one. It's going to be on the left-hand side. Go to images. Oh, yours is different than mine. You got all that porn on yours.
Yeah, man. What do you beat off to?
I just saw one. He didn't have the bowl cut. It was more split down the middle. Scroll up.
Is this guy?
No, not that.
I think you're losing it.
He's no, dude. I'm telling you, I'm looking at it right now.
Is Mrs. Davis, was she super gingery?
Yeah, probably. She had to have been.
Right? God, dude.
Whatever. He got a terrible haircut. He's allowed. I would rather not remember him as a crypt keeper.
I hope they do at the very end do like an early 90s Al Davis, just to see like the wear and tear, like some sort of like they had a falling out over something. He quit when he didn't want to, but they met on the NBC studios in a wheelchair in his in his white jumpsuit, and they made peace. I want to see it one time. It's too much to ask for.
We all like a happy ending. Actually, I found it here.
Too late. Already hit the What Up Windbags lower third. No going back now.
All right, hang on a second. Hang on. It'll be worth it.
I don't know if I want to see it. I don't know if I want to know Mark Davis without the bowl haircut. I don't want to poison my mind.
What the heck? That wasn't what I was looking at. I was looking at this.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
I know, right? Terrible.
Wait for it. How about we do this as a tease and you'll show it next show?
All right, show it next show. Every time I freaking try to show it, it like changes to something else.
For reals, here's what a Windbags. Martinez 209. A show with the whitest Raiders fan and the Mexican Santa Claus is always a good show. I think he said JK. Put JP. JK, fellas.
Just
Raiders.
playing.
Just playing. Just kidding.
Don't insult us by saying that. Just say what you want to say and move on.
Yeah.
I know you're just kidding, asshole.
No, seriously. Like, Soto looks like a Mexican Santa Claus, and I'm like one of the whitest dudes on planet Earth. It's ridiculous how white I am. My full name is Randall John Clifford II. My favorite food is beef Wellington. My credit score is like 790. Like I really, yeah, I am. Like if Hitler walked in here right now, he'd look at me and be like, "Yep, nailed it." Like I'm that pasty white.
There's one.
And you're Mexican Santa Claus. If you don't dress up as Santa this Christmas, swear to God, I'm switching to Hanukkah. The white
stew doesn't advertise.
Disco stew. The White Stallion 7824. When I heard only feed account, I wanted to introduce you to my idea I've had for years. Tonely fans.
That was a good one. That was a super good one. I was very impressed by that.
That's fantastic. Did I ever tell you my idea for Strelp?
What?
Strip Club Yelp.
Oh, yeah, Strelp. You told me about that.
Strelp. Because you think about like Yelp is great for like a restaurant or like a plumber because of like the things they ask you about. But when you go through the Strelp rundown of things you want out of an establishment, strip clubs just don't fit. Like when I go to strip clubs, I don't want a 5-star strip club because that's $75 cover, $200 lap dance, $28 beer. Like, yeah, the chicks will be hot and it'll be really nice, but it's like, I don't want that. I want a strip club next to an airport where on Tuesdays they have 3 dances for $50.
All you can eat peel and eat shrimp.
Like that's what I'm looking for, right? And so that would be like a 2-star strip club. So I want strip club Yelp, Strelp, which is just for strip clubs. So instead of like house parking, how is the service? It's like, okay, VIP room, how touchy can we get? Bar, how big's the stage? How packed is it? Like things that matter with the strip club, because Strelp Yelp doesn't explain a strip club at all. Strelp, on the other hand, tell you exactly what you want to know and exactly what you're looking for. It's a $1 billion idea. Patent pending, patent pending, patent pending. This is a legally binding contract. You guys can't steal my idea. Solomon Mitchell, T9J, thank you so much for being a member. The Raiders got the ultimate mommy makeover this season. We got the boob lift, tummy tuck, couple stitches in the pussy to tighten the hole, and with the 2 6th-round picks, we even got some laser and Botox. We should have an absolute dime for a team. I actually kind of like that analogy because we got the mommy makeover, but we still need the healing process. You know what I'm saying? Like we got wheeled out of the surgeon's chair, but like the husband isn't ready to rock yet. Like you've got to like heal up, hyperbaric chamber, get those little like anti-scar tapes to put on there. The swelling needs to go down. You're obviously talking to a guy who's married to a woman that had a mommy makeover. Trust me, I've been through this. Like this is actually a good analogy, Soto. Like it's the work has like the construction's underway, but it's not ready yet. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that the big kind of the big sticking point with a lot of chicks out there who get this mommy makeover, it doesn't really ends up looking really bad is when they don't do the maintenance work to like take care of themselves after the fact.
Bingo.
And I think I think not so much Chip, I think Pete Carroll is on top of that. He is the one who's setting the tone for the team, not just what to do now, but what to expect from themselves and from each other every single day. So I think that switch in mentality is going to be the big difference. And yes, you get the makeover, you get the better head coach, the better offensive coordinator, the better quarterback. Okay, you get all that stuff, but you also get a better mindset. You get better scheduling. You get better organization. You get, better discipline. You got better accountability. You get all that stuff with Pete Carroll already. So I think it's going to be, hopefully.
Pete is the boob job. Gino is the tummy tuck. Chip is the hole tightening. And then the rest of but waiting to heal is not jumping in to try to win it all this season. That's the all right, let's like you said, let's get a culture. Let's build up the roster. Let's plug some holes, giggity. Let's have this season to do the healing. And so we're ready for the little black dress next season. This is a ridiculously good analogy that Solomon Mitchell just gave it. I think he was just trying to be funny and be sexual because that's how we are. But this is uncannily, very, very specific and correct.
I mean, he did hit your triggers. He did hit every single one.
He flicked.
So I can see why you think that. But
it also, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. The major surgeries have been done. Head coach, OC, quarterback. We're not ready to win a Super Bowl. If we try to win a Super Bowl now, it's going to be disastrous.
I wouldn't necessarily go that far.
I would.
I think that Pete Carroll is trying to win with what they have now, but he has to know what he has.
We're ready to go to the grocery store. We're ready to drop the kids off at school. We're not ready for a bathing suit yet. Not ready for a bathing suit yet.
We'll start wearing yoga pants and long sleeves.
Mm-hmm. You're looking good, right? Wow, surgery, everything went
great. And the waist trainer, right? You still got the waist trainer and the gel.
You got the little the corset to keep everything tight. The little scar tape, right? That's where we're at. Looking good in yoga pants. Not ready for bikini season yet.
I'm not telling you to lose weight, but just go home and get on the scale, and whatever number you see, take away 30.
Just tight.
Just
tight. What movie is that from? Let us know.
I gave you 2 bangers today, guys.
Solomon Mitchell gave us a banger today. You gave us
good for him.
Softballs.
I'm happy for him.
All right, that's it for us. The countdown's underway. We're in double digits. OTAs flying through. That's going to be done. Free agency is still underway. Trades can still happen. The world is still our oyster. We got the tummy tuck, the boob job, and tighten up the cooter. Now it's just time to heal. Start bathing suit shopping. Until then, knock on wood if you're with me. Hey, you made it to the end of our video. Great job. I know you want more. Go ahead and click the next video. And if you're feeling crazy, go ahead and subscribe.